Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. So we are live now. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Teach Jin's series of Know Our Partners. Today's episode is featuring our partner language Cert. Today we are with Mr. Carol, the Business Development Manager at Language Cert. Thank you very much, Mr. Carol, for being here with us. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Pleasure to be here. Hello.
Okay, so let's start with a quick introduction about Teaching Services. For the ones who are joining us for the first time, we are an education digitization company that is committed to delivering an exceptional experience to equip schools and educational institutes, as well as teachers and students with the creative tech tools and become more tech literate and to promote the 21st century skills in learning. So our vision is to provide IT and professional development solutions with great quality and industry standards with the right use of precise educational transformation solutions, and of course with innovative, effective use of technology to maximize education institutes' potential in the Middle East. So we actually have a lot of domains that we are working on right now. Our first domain is the PD Academy. The PD Academy dedicates its courses to both teachers as well as school leaders. So we have a variety of courses, starting with the digital classroom management, which is a 6-module course of a total of 12 hours. And we also have teaching strategies for successful learning, another 6 modules course with a total of 12 hours. We have the pedagogy wheel, which implements technology into Bloom's taxonomy, for a total of 12 hours. We also have apps for every teacher that equips the teachers with the up-to-date and the highly advanced tech tools that will help them promote using technology in schools and in education. We also have specific training for teachers that is related to IELTS teacher training, as well as other exam preparation. We also have assessment and feedback course, which helps teachers give effective assessment and feedback using technology for their students. We have also a bundle, the leadership bundle, which is 2 courses that are dedicated to school leaders and coordinators. We have the educational leadership in the digital age, as well as the leaders digital toolkit, which provides the leaders and equip them with the tools to become more effective and efficient in their school management. We also have some exam preparation services for GRE, GMAT, and also including the ESOL exam. When it comes to the educational transformation services, we provide education consultation to schools and education institutes that will help them in course and curriculum design, as well as tech integration, planning, and assistance with emerging technologies. We also are partnering with one of the award-winning e-learning and student lifecycle management systems. And we provide the discovery and skill assessment and also end-to-end implementation for these programs, as well as support on site and offshore with project management and quality assurance. Our domain in instructional design services also supports trainers who are new to creating courses and presenting courses. So we provide them with consultation, course design, course management, as well as presentation. Our esteemed partners is our cluster, the all-in-one student and learning management system, as well as Clever, the AI and coding programs that are dedicated for young learners, which are in turn partners with Google and IBM. Seeds UAE, which is a provides personal value-based human development programs. We are a proud member of Dubai Chamber at the Dubai Business Women Council. Our esteemed partner, Language Cert, of course, and Energia, that provides programs for gifted students as well as students with learning difficulties to improve their academic performance. So having said that, we would like to welcome Mr. Karel with us and Mr. Yasser from Language Cert. And now the mic is yours, Mr. Karel.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for your kind words and the introduction. Indeed, our organization, Language Cert, is a global certification body, and I'd like you to learn more about us. And the main theme of my presentation will be to show you which English level assessments you can undertake through TeacherGen and through Language Cert at the same time in order to certify your English proficiency, and what are the basic needs that you will satisfy when you take one of our exams, be it for the UK visa exams or for IESOL for your academic, let's say, achievement, or for, let's say, your professional career. So should you have any questions, I hope there is a chance to ask the questions, and I'll be happy to answer. In the meantime, allow me to start with the presentation. So Language Cert is a part of a very large global certification body called PeopleCert, and Language Cert is a division, as the name suggests, dedicated to assessment of English skills. But many of you may not know Language Cert because it's a new brand built on a very highly reputed organization called City and Guilds, and Language Cert acquired City and Guilds International Exams 6 years ago and rebranded them to Language Cert. So what you may have heard about City and Guilds has been acquired by PeopleCert, rebranded to Language Cert, and approved, improved, revamped, and what you can see now are the Language Cert exams. However, PeopleCert is a much larger organization. that also deals with vocational training, so and certification, most certification after the training. And if you have a project manager in your environment, in your contacts, among your close ones, then most likely they will know the term Prince 2, which is the most popular British certification for project management. If you have an IT manager in your close circles, you will most likely see this person recognizing the term ITIL4 or DevOps or Scrum, because these are the most popular certifications in the world, and PeopleCert offers them as well. However, today I will obviously focus on the language exams. Our exams are delivered globally in over 200 different countries and in hundreds of thousands, mainly because of the fact that we deliver them remotely, meaning you as candidates have access to our exams 24/7 from every corner of the earth, where you can be taking the exams and you will be meeting with our interlocutor or with our invigilator, and you can take the exam from the comfort of your home, which became especially popular and especially attractive, especially in the the very turbulent times we've been going through lately. So many of international exam candidates have decided not to let's say risk going to the test center or anywhere, not to expose themselves to the risk of the pandemic. So, which is exactly why this is also going to be a part of what I'm going to focus on, meaning our online proctored exams that you can access. Naturally, as Language Cert, we are the member of the largest and the most popular assessment organizations in order to keep updated and to be on track with the latest standards for development of language assessments. So IELTS and equals being among them. But what I really want to share with you, and also immediately sort of lock in the back of your heads, that if you ever need to go to the UK for any purpose, you will be needing a visa if you want to stay there more than 6 months, be it working visa, spouse visa, student visa. Please have it in the back of your head to reach out to Teacher Jan, that through them you will have access to our UK visa exams. As you probably know, if you want to study, work, live in the UK, you will have to go through a visa application process. The part of that visa application process is taking a CELT, Secure English Language Test exam, and Language Cert is one of only 4 global providers allowed to administer these exams for the visa applicants. So I would say, if it ever becomes your idea, or if your partners or if your clients are willing to move to the UK for whatever purpose, for all visa purposes, Language Cert is the provider of specific language exams for that purpose. So I think it speaks a lot about the quality of our exams, because we have been approved. We have been approved by the UK Home Office for that purpose, and we have been delivering UK visa exams for quite some time now. Now, let me guide you through the exams that you can take with us, and through Teacher Jan, you will be also able to receive attractive discounts on the exams we have in our offer. So I'll stay with this slide for quite a bit, because I'd like to clearly explain the exams that are within the Language Cert offer. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we cater for every type of visa exam which is required for the UK Home Office for the CELT exam. So depending on the type of the visa, you may be needed to take the CELT exam of speaking and listening for A1, A2, or B1 level. For student visa, for example, you will be required to take a 4 skills exam for B1 or B2 level, obviously higher if you wish. So depending on the visa type, you will be taking one of the CELT exams. The only slight difference here is that CELT exams, they do require a physical location. If you decide to take the UK visa exam, you will need to report at the testing center because this was mandated by the UK government, despite the fact that Language Cert also offers exams you can take from home. So just for you to remember, if ever you decide to go to the UK for whatever purpose and you will need the visa, don't hesitate to reach out to Teacher Jen so that you can get access to these UK visa exams. Now, that being aside, if your target destination isn't the UK, then you should definitely consider our academic general English exams called International ESOL. These exams are in their content quite similar to the exams that are then delivered as CELT exams, with the difference being the model of their delivery, which means you can take Language Cert International ESOL exams either remotely from home, and you will be able to select any day and time during the day to take these exams. If needed, you can also take them into computerized class. You can take them in computerized classrooms or on paper. But again, given the purpose of our conversation today, I'll focus on the exams that you can take from home. So in this sense, you choose your level. You choose your level from the CFR, all 6 CFR levels available, and then you attempt the exam. And upon successful completion of the exam, you receive the certificate. So this is the IESOL suite of exams that is also available, and I encourage you to take these exams. These exams are particularly recognized for your education abroad. Again, if your target destination isn't the UK, so it can be Western Europe, it can be Australia, New Zealand, and countries where, for example, you're applying at the university and the requirement, the entrance requirement for the university, the admission requirement is most often the B2 level or the B1 level, depending on the university and the program that you want to enroll with. So that's where you would consider the IESOL exam. If you are interested in the job market, if you're interested in your professional development, in your professional career, then naturally the exam that should be of your interest would be the Language Cert Test of English, LTE. This one is what I like to call it an employer's certificate, and candidates take this exam when they want to give a competitive edge to their CV when they are entering the job market. So I'll drill down a little bit into the details of these exams in a minute. So coming back to IESOL exams, as I mentioned, these exams is where you select a level, and once you have selected a level, you attempt the exam, and if you receive a sufficient number of points in your exam, you receive a pass or a high pass from the exam, and you receive a certificate with the B2 level indicated on your certificate. What's really attractive about our exams is that they are available 24/7 in the online proctored system. I will elaborate more on that in a minute, But let me just say again, for the best flexibility, for the largest availability of the exam, we are offering the most modern solution for exam takers, because they can log in and take the exam at any time of day or night when they want to receive their certificates, and they will receive their certificates in 3 business days. Uh, Another very important feature of language cert exams is that they have no validity date. As you are perhaps aware, there are certain certifications in the world, which of course are also popular and often taken by candidates, but they have a validity date. And for example, after a period of 2 years from the time you take the exam, the scores become invalid. In our case, it's not so. You can use the certificate for as long as you like, and we leave the freedom of the we leave the freedom to the institution receiving the scores on whether or not they will accept them, if indeed they are 2 years older or more. So it's entirely up to the receiving organization, but you as a candidate or your candidates can use these certificates as long as they like. Another a couple of features that I will mention is also the take 2 option, where in case of attempting our exam, you will be able to, if you fail, pay a little extra upon the registration for the exam. And if you fail, you will be able to resit the exam within 6 months after your first attempt at the exam. So it's a way to avoid paying double the fee for the exam, a kind of security measure for the candidate, where they can actually take the exam again if they fail at the first time. So that's another very attractive feature. Students very often selected because they want this extra security for a fraction of the price of the exam. They want this added security that they will be able to take the exam again in case of the failure, unsatisfactory result, and then they will be able to not pay double. So another important factor is that when you take IESOL exams, you actually receive 2 certificates, because the IESOL exams are split into 2 components: written component, which is listening, reading, and writing, and a spoken component. And these are 2 different entirely exams. You register for them separately and you pay for them separately. So it allows you great flexibility on when you want to attempt and which exam you want to attempt first. So just to give you an example, some of the students that are taking our exam, for example, they select the B1 level. They first take listening, reading, and writing exam. Let's say they take it in January, but they can decide to take speaking in May or June, and in that time prepare for that exam. So it's very convenient, because they will receive 1 certificate for the listening, reading, and writing part, and another for speaking. They can take 1, they can take 2, they can take either. So you see that it offers a lot of flexibility for the students to certify themselves in the way they want and when they want. The exams, the listening, reading, and writing part have pretty much the same structure, which is focused on communicative English. So you will find very little specific grammar questions, but rather you'll find questions which are formed around communication. So when you take the listening, reading, and writing part, depending on the level, it will last longer, naturally depending on the level of difficulty, right? For the B1, B2 level exam, including speaking, you will spend, including listening, sorry, you will spend little under 3 hours, but it will be more than 3 hours for C1 or C2 levels. Okay, so this is the way the exam is structured, and naturally the speaking part has a form of a spoken interview. where you are actually interacting, just like, for example, I am interacting with you right now. You are interacting face to face with our interlocutor who will examine you, and that obviously it will be the assessment of your speaking during that exam. It will be an interview which lasts, approximately 15 minutes, and then you are being assessed based on your performance during the exam. What is really interesting and what made our exam also very to be considered very user friendly is how it is scored. Because when you look at it, when you take the listening, reading, and writing component, you will get 50 points for each section of the exam total. The total will come up to 150 points, but because we are applying performance scoring, you will receive a passing level if you are awarded 75 or more points. So as you can quickly see, and quickly our candidates notice that, and to their satisfaction, they noticed that they can gather these 100, let's say 75 points across all the skills that are being tested. So they very quickly realize this exam is, well, let's say friendly in that sense that they can take it and have a passing score, even if, for example, they're not too confident, for example, about their listening. So that's the overall performance scoring, right? This is what students really enjoy. And then out of 50 points on the speaking scale, 25 is a passing scale, and then 35 high pass, right? So pass with distinction starts with 35 points, as it does with 101 on the listening, reading, and writing component. So as you can see, there's a whole lot of flexibility regarding these exams, and they are really candidate friendly to certify your skills as referred to the Common European Framework level. Another very important factor is that should you choose to
Yeah, I
take the
can see
IELTS.
also that, I'm sorry to interrupt,
No,
but
go ahead, please.
I really admire the differentiation. Like when you, like for example, in the speaking, like you have different durations based on your language level. And this is something that we miss in other language exams, because
Yes.
it's all standardized, it's all the same exam for all language levels, so it doesn't like provide differentiation based on your actual level, so it doesn't give you like a fair chance to show your skills properly. So I think this is an amazing feature in the ESL exams. Thank you. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you for that comment, because it allows me to highlight one thing. Many of our candidates, when they were taking a multi-level exams, they were telling us, especially if they are on a lower level, let's say around A2 or B1, they were very often getting really frustrated or nervous because they had to answer too many questions they didn't have any idea how to answer. So if you have a multi-level exam, it causes sometimes stress and frustration because you are being bombarded with the questions that you are not likely to answer. So then you have this uncertainty. Will I pass? Will I not pass? I mean, was it a good performance during the exam? I don't know if I responded to that question correctly. Here, you choose the level, you take the level, and yes, I mean, naturally, the A1 or A2 exam, which covers, let's say, lower levels of English competence, should be shorter, not to also overwhelm the candidate. So yeah, and then again, when you look at the score delivery time being 3 business days, I think it's difficult to beat, right? You take the exam from home. You don't have to travel. You don't have to pay any expenses connected with commuting to the test center. You take the exam, you receive your statement of results, you receive your e-certificate, and then you receive your hard copy certificate. It's also sent to you, but naturally in the current world, you will always use your digital version of your certificate. And then you also get a digital badge, which I will elaborate on a little bit more later, which is an incredible way to show off your score, to show off how much you how much you know. So if you allow me, if there aren't any questions, because I don't see any, allow me to move to the other exam, and that exam is LTE. So you see, we covered IESOL because IESOL were the exams which are geared towards, let's say, your academic career, your academic success, general / academic English. However, if you are a young person who's about to graduate from studies and enter the work market, or if you are already a professional, if you're caring about your CV and how your resume will compete against other competitors, candidates on the market, I think LTE would be the perfect choice for you. You see, LTE, Language Cert Test of English, is the exam which is geared towards the job market. I like to call it Office Survival English Test, or I also like to call it the employer's certificate, because the aim of receiving this certification is to show off to your potential recruiter, to your potential new boss. The interesting feature of this exam is that you don't fail. You don't fail because before entering this exam, you do not declare your level. Here, you will always pass, well, almost always, because 10 points marks the beginning of the A1 level. And honestly, I haven't seen anybody here scoring below 10 points, so you can only get better. And up to 100 points where you can actually ace the test and be on a C2 level. So this particular exam, apart from being delivered in the most modern way in the world, is also, I would say, the most modern exam in its construction, and I will tell you more about it in a minute. So should you score 40 out of 100 points, there will be a B1 level certificate for you. 60 plus, it will be B2 level. But what's really amazing about this exam, and again, having taken it myself twice, not because I failed, but just because I wanted to test it on myself, I must say that having taken, I would say, maybe at around 7 or 8 English certifications in my life so far, I am truly impressed with this one. Why? I can bet with you none of you have taken this exam like that. None of you have taken the adaptive exam. Why is it so incredible? The computer adaptive exam means that the exam's level of difficulty adjusts to your performance during the exam. And this was something what we mentioned before. I mean, you may also compare this to a placement exam, right? I mean, pretty much many of you have taken one or another sort of a placement exam in their life, and certain certificates out there are also kind of placement exams. The key thing here is that when you take a placement exam, and let's assume this placement exam has 100 questions, you will end up answering about 30 to even 50% of questions which don't relate to you at all, right? Because you'll have to go through the basic questions, then more difficult questions, and then very difficult questions, right? With all the range from A1 to C2. It's not the case with LTE. LTE is the exam that you take, and during the exam, every next question and its difficulty is based on your performance so far. To make it simple, you start with a B1 level question. If you answer it correctly, the next question is not going to be anything lower than B1. Maybe it will be B1 plus or B2. When you answer that correctly, the next question is going to be, again, the same difficulty level or higher. And as you go through the exam, the more correct answers you give to the questions, the closer you get to 100 points, but the level of difficulty of the exam is gradually increasing. So you'll see getting more and more difficult questions. So and if you don't answer the questions correctly, you will see them getting easier. So you see, you will be answering questions during this exam that are in the closest correlation to your current level, which is exactly why you can take this exam in 60 minutes. Most people finish it in 60 minutes, though you have 90 minutes, which is more than enough to complete the exam. And then you will be asked around 60 questions because it's all there is needed. Because simply the questions will be selected based on how you perform, throughout the exam. So it's very simple. I mean, the algorithm is very complicated and very sophisticated, but it's very simple and straightforward way of testing you because you get the questions that relate to your level. So in 90 minutes maximum, you will answer about 60 listening and reading questions, which are a multiple choice exam questions where you choose either A, B, C, or you choose one from A, B, C, or A, B, C, D, suggested answers. And there's only one correct one. So in such a way that there's only one correct answer out of 3 or 4. Again, what is very important about this exam, it's adaptive format, its availability 24/7, and that it's fully mapped to the CEFR level, because there are several exams like that on the market, which are only mapped to, say, C1 level. So LTE covers the entire scale of the Common European Framework of Reference, and you can take this exam and also have a C2 level on your certificate. Another very important feature of this exam is here, when you take that exam, you will learn your score immediately after your exam as a preliminary score. So the moment you finish, you know how many points you got. And then in 2 business days, you will receive your certificate and the digital badge, and you're all good to go. So again, there is no validity on this exam, so you can take it now, and if you use it in a year or 2 or 5, it's entirely up to you. This exam is modular, which means you start with listening and reading. I mean, you can start with listening and reading, and later you will be adding other modules like LTE writing or LTE speaking, should you choose to do so. But the listening and reading part is like, a warm-up, let's say, a beginning of your journey through professional certification. So it's also very appealing. You always pass. You can always, improve your score later on when you attempt the exam again. And then, as I mentioned, when you've taken the exam in 2 business days, you receive your score report, your certificate in the PDF format. It's downloadable and always available from your profile. And then you get your hard copy certificate to the address that you specified during your registration. And then you receive the digital badge, which again allows you to even more share your score and show off that you have been professionally and officially certified. Another very important feature is that digital badge. I really want to highlight this one, because you see, I think if you're seriously into finding a good job, or if you're already active on the job market, most likely you have or you will have a LinkedIn account. And then on your LinkedIn account, you can add your scores to the licenses and certifications part of your profile. And then every recruiter, every headhunter, every potential employer who is going to view your profile, they're going to see that your English skills have been officially certified. And as you fill in the table there, you will be able to add the direct link to your score on our website, what we call the public URL for your score. So everybody viewing your profile will be immediately directed to your official score confirmation. So in terms of, you see, I always look at it from the terms of the professional image of your resume, or the professional image, as we now very nicely call it, employee branding, right? I think you will agree with me that when you prepare your resume, it's very often the case that you can write whatever in it, right? And you know, the application or the paper will accept it, right? You can write whatever, right? You worked for NASA, you are 30 years old and you have 50 years experience, all that probably, you know, you can put on a document, right? Is the question of verification of that information if it's true. So here, what you are immediately showing to the world is that you don't think your score, your English level is B2. You know that because it's officially certified, and here's the certificate, and here's how you can verify that it's original. So that's genuine. So I think a very good way to boost your, let's say, the power of your CV, the power of your the competitive edge of your application. So as you can see, even if this is where, for example, in my case, it would lead you, if you clicked on my link, you would see when I took the exam that this is me who took the exam, which level I got. Even if you're not familiar with language cert exams, and you know, it's quite possible that your potential boss may not be either, there is always a description of the level there, and you can always verify that this is my score on language cert website. So indeed, you
Yeah,
know,
another
there's,
thing I noticed that is
yeah,
very interesting also
please,
in the certification is, if you go to the previous page, if you don't mind,
of course,
is the no expiration date.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
something that, to be honest, like personally, as a non-native speaker of English, I've suffered a lot because of it.
Yeah.
Because every 2 years, I have to
Mm-hmm.
prove to my management that my English language skills are still on the same level, or are still up to the level of that they request, or they require for having this position or this job at their institute.
Yeah.
So this is something that I would say would be a lot of relief for non-natives, especially teachers, because this is something that we need to keep on verifying every 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's not only financially like
Mm-hmm.
daunting, it's also like psychologically exhausting, that you have to go through the whole like procedure again, all over again from the beginning, like as if whatever you've done 2 years ago did not exist. Like
Yes.
you just learned the language a year ago or a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I think this is also one of the amazing features that
Mm-hmm.
this exam would excel at, more than any other language examination.
Correct. Correct. This is one of the advantages. We give the freedom to the candidate to decide for how long they want to utilize the certificate, and we don't put any limitation on that. So I think yes, it is an important feature. And then with the use of the digital badge, you can even more highlight this in every application, in every of the social media portals that you subscribe to. Naturally, when you enter our website, if you want to get familiar with our exams for each level and each type of our exams, we have official preparation materials, and you can download the entire practice papers for each of our exams. And then if you are an educator, if you are a teacher, if you are a lecturer, then you can also attend our academic webinars, which are also featured on our website, and you can register to get familiar with all of our exams. And this way to become a more, let's say, experienced educator, a more experienced person when it comes to preparing your students for the international exams. So last but not least, I'd like to focus on how the exam is delivered, because it is really cutting edge technology put to work to deliver the exams for our candidates in the most modern fashion available. You see, when you take our exam, and given the pandemic and given how the world's changed, allows you to, first of all, minimize any risks like pandemic. It allows you to customize the time of the exam, especially adjusted to your schedule, not vice versa. And it allows you to economize on costs of travel, commuting, and uh, there is this saying in my culture that obviously time is gold, right? Or time is money, right? I think it's pretty universal, right? If you have to take an exam which takes, say, 90 minutes, but you need to drive half a day to get to the test center, then take the exam for 90 minutes and drive another half a day to come back. At the end of the day, you lost the potential of the entire day just for 90 minutes, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
think,
and another thing also is the limited seats. Like
yeah,
sometimes you may not find like an available seats for the dates that you're looking at. Like
that's
let's say you're
right.
running out of time and you need to get this certificate as soon as possible so you can apply for, let's say, master's or PhD or immigration or whatever, and you are tight on time. So this is also an amazing feature that you're not tied, like, or you're not obliged to go to a certain test center because this is the only center that has the exam on the day, or that you need to postpone your plans because there are no available dates to take the test.
That's exactly also the point. And on top of that, should you decide to take one of our exams, which is delivered in this online proctored fashion, once you pay for the exam, you have 1 year, you have 12 months to decide when you actually want to take it. So it's like, I compare it to an open flight ticket. You know you're going to fly, but you have to decide when. So to self-motivate yourself, if you make, for example, New Year resolutions that, okay, by the end of next year, I really need to have a certificate of English. There you go. You purchase the exam today and you have 12 months to decide when you want to take it. I think it doesn't get any more flexible. Than that. And you can schedule your exam 24/7 and adjust it to also, let's say, if you're an evening person or a morning person. I am very much an evening person. If you ask me to take the exam at 8 o'clock, I will fail because I'm sleeping, right? If you
Yeah.
take me to exam at 10 p.m., this is where my performance is definitely higher. So you see, I mean, really, it doesn't get more modern. It doesn't really get more, let's say, comfortable and flexible than that.
You would be more relaxed as well because like there's a load that has been taken off your shoulders. Like, will I be able to find that the a seat for my test, or for the dates that I wanted to have it on or something? So there's a huge load that is taken off my chest actually by doing that.
Exactly. So you see, because of the pandemic, I think we all went very quickly, ironically, through a revolution in technology and in the way that we interact, right? I mean, normally before pandemic, we would probably be trying to meet face to face. Now it's okay for everybody to meet online, right? For us to have this meeting today. So it goes the same for languages and for language exams and for language certifications, right? So all you need to take the exam is actually secure a quiet room for yourself for the duration of the exam. So if you plan the exam at 5 a.m. in the morning, everybody may still be sleeping, so you will not be interrupted. If you do it in the middle of the day, you can, let's say, ask your family politely to go for a walk so that you can be, in peace and quiet in your room. If you plan it at 10 p.m. or later, everybody will be sleeping. So again, nobody will interrupt you. You need internet connectivity. Well, and the very fact that you can hear me right now, see me, and you can see my presentation, I think proves to the fact that we are pretty much connected. And me being in Europe, you being in Middle East, I mean, doesn't really make a problem. right? Now, what you need is a computer with a camera or a laptop with a camera. Again, pretty much everybody has it now. And then you need microphone and headset, and you need admin rights on your computer. It's an important bit, naturally, because you need full access to your computer. And then you're good to go. And this is actually where the whole journey begins and where it gets really interesting. When you book your exam, you will be asked to create an account on the Language Cert website. And then when you start booking your exam, here's the really amazing part that happens. You will be able to select a date from 12 months period where you can actually select the date and the time of the day and the exact hour when you want to begin your exam. This is really incredible, an incredibly flexible way of taking the exam. You are in control. And I'll say something more. It gets better. When you have selected your exam date, but your plans have changed, or you got cold feet, like for example, you got scared, and you, for example, thought, okay, if I take the exam in 2 more weeks, I will be better prepared. You can do this, right? As long as your, let's say, 12 months from purchase of the exam haven't expired, if it's 48 hours before the exam, you can postpone your exam and take it at a later date. So imagine the flexibility there. Your plans can change, right? I mean, you can have some family emergencies or personal emergencies or whatever, right? If you pay for an exam that you need to go to the test center and it shows that you can't get there, I mean, your payment most likely will be forfeit. You will lose the money. Here, in our case, you can reschedule the exam free of charge 48 hours prior to the exam to whatever other date you like. So again, I will say it doesn't get better than that. Once you have booked your exam, you download the exam application. So I would say it works the same as, for example, if you have, I don't know, Zoom on your computer, or if you have WhatsApp on your computer, you just download our exam communicator, right? This application will connect you with our test administrator, our invigilator, and this person will be monitoring you during the exam, helping you if there are any technical problems, and obviously watching over you that you complete the exam uninterrupted and by yourself. So that's why I mentioned you need to have admin rights on your computer, because naturally you will not be able to install this application if you don't. Once you do, you run a system check. The application will check your system, check your audio, check your video, and obviously ask you to provide your identification document in order to confirm your identity, because naturally we need to know that it's you who's taking the exam and not somebody on your behalf. So during the exam, our candidates are monitored by our invigilators. The invigilators can see what's on the candidate's screen, and they can see and hear the candidate throughout the whole exam. So if you start moving around, I mean, naturally, the invigilator will be reacting, and they may even go as far as to invalidate your exam. So you need to be focused on your exam during its time. For the spoken exam, it's one-to-one interaction, 2 ways. You can see your interlocutor. The interlocutor can see you, and you have a conversation which is later recorded and sent for scoring. So this is how the exams in fact take place. Again, it's a absolutely cutting edge and very innovative way of delivering these exams. Very well tested in the field. We have thousands and thousands of candidates who have taken the exam like that, and there are very few technical problems. And even if your internet service is interrupted during the exam freezes. It is saved at the moment when you stopped, and if you can resume the connectivity of your computer to the internet, you can continue the exam from the moment you stopped. If not, well, we will be deciding together with our customer service on how to reschedule your exam and on what terms.
I have a question,
Yeah, please.
if I may,
Please, yeah.
regarding the online proctoring, because I get this question a lot. Like, how can you make sure that the candidate is not cheating on the other side?
Of
Like the
course.
candidate, yes, this is something that I've been asked a lot, like especially in not just in the reading and and listening. I'm also talking about the speaking exam. How wouldn't you know that there's some sort of cheating going on behind the screen?
So yeah, we have tested this numerous times, and we have given our the exam samples to different people who were trying to beat the system, and they didn't really succeed. First of all, there's always the human element. You are being monitored by a live person. So unlike other exams who are online proctored, they are only being recorded, right? I mean, you only then have a recording of the exam. Here, you are always under the supervision of a live person. This person is looking at you all the time. Then there is the artificial intelligence component, which is not something I can disclose all the details, but there is an artificial intelligence component in it where, for example, the angle of your face, the angle, the angle of your eyesight is also monitored by artificial intelligence. So if you start moving around, the exam administrator is automatically notified. If there is a background noise that is not your own, the test administrator is notified. If you start looking away from the monitor, same story. And we can see what's on your screen. And during the exam, all the other applications are blocked. So you cannot move to another application, use the shortcut keys on your computer and move to another application. So that pretty much safeguards the candidate from cheating and provides a let's say secure environment. Also, during the check-in for the exam, the candidate, the exam administrator will ask you to do 360 rotation around your room to see that there's nobody in the room when you start the exam. And usually they will ask you to position the camera so that the angle shows the door, so that nobody enters the room and that you are not interrupted. And well, let's put it this way: we have had cases when, upon the review of the recording of the test session, well, we had to question the candidate score. So that's why, you know, we don't give the scores automatically, but it takes several days because they are also assessed. All right. So I hope that answers
very impressive. Yeah, very impressive.
question.
Yes. Yeah, that's answers a lot of questions actually. And the most important thing, as you've mentioned, that it's not like automatically like graded at the moment. Like you give yourself time to review and make sure that everything was going smoothly, that there was no chance of cheating. So yeah, this is impressive. Yes,
that's right. Yeah, so really this is a really huge advantage, because again, other exams out there which claim to be online proctored are actually only recorded. So all that happens is that whenever there is a problem during the exam, all you can do is stop, the recording will stop, the exam will stop, you need to do it again, right? With us, I had this situation myself. I was taking the exam once and there was some glitch in my router. The router died, the internet died on me. The exam froze. I had to go reset my router. I reconnected to the internet. My invigilator was waiting for me. I finished the exam and it didn't impact my score. So naturally, I was able to resume the exam. If this was just the recording, my only option would be to close the exam, and I would have lost the time and probably the money I spent on the exam due to some error. So, you know, it also makes a difference because there's always the human element in that process. So pretty much coming to an end of my presentation. Within seconds, you can confirm the authenticity of your score on our website. This is very important for universities which are recognizing our scores. for employers who are basing their recruitment decisions on our scores, you can, within minutes, you can enter our website, you can put in the number of your certificate on that website. So when the candidate provides you with the number of the certificate, you can just put it in on the website and you will receive the confirmation of their score. So again, this is another safeguard because, you know, I mean, the digital certificate can be manipulated naturally, but the feedback from our website will not be manipulated because it's our database, which actually provides the output showing the candidate score after they provide you with a certificate number. So again, the verification part here is also very important because, well, let's say we have had situations. This year I had 3 disciplinary actions being taken against students around the world. I will not mention countries or names, where candidates were actually photoshopping their certificates instead of taking the exam and scoring better. So this score verification service prevented from any attempt to manipulate, prevents from the attempts to manipulate the score. So again, it's a guarantee for the score recipient that your score is your score and not, you know, how you can manipulate Photoshop or any other application. Okay. Have there been any questions apart from the ones you've asked, or is there anything else I can elaborate on?
Thank you very much, Mr. Carol. It was very, very informative. And to be honest, it's quite interesting. Like I for myself is one, like personally would love to take the language cert exam and try it myself, because the features that you have given us is quite fascinating. And it makes it like really like you know, like makes it quite special and make it different from other exams. The question that I've always been asked whenever we bring the ESOL exam to the discussion is, like, if let's say I'm applying for a master's or a PhD in any foreign country or any university, like how would I know that this university would accept ESOL exam results other than other like known or exams that are commonly used whenever you apply for any scholarship or a master's or PhD in any university?
Okay, so there are 2 points to that answer. Number one, if you go to our website languagecert.org, there is a part of the website which clearly indicates the list of universities that recognize our exams globally. So when you expand each and every country, you will be able to see universities which recognize our exams. So that's the starting point. However, also please be mindful of the fact that whenever you have a specific target, you have a specific university that you want to apply for, always ask. Because I've had numerous, you see, in my professional life, I was dealing with several different certificates, several different certification companies, and it's always up to the university. It's always up to the receiving organization to recognize and accept or not recognize and not accept the certificate. So I would always recommend you asking. If it's IESOL, if it's TOEFL, if it's IELTS, if it's a Mickey Mouse exam, you know, always ask the receiving organization if they're going to accept it, because in many situations, you know, sometimes very strange situations take place. One day I was talking to a teacher at a certain university, and that university was recognizing our exams, and the teacher attacked me. She said, no, our university doesn't recognize these exams. And I had to show her the website because she wasn't even aware. She was a lecturer at that university, and she wasn't aware that the university recognized our exam. So it's a question. Always, my recommendation will always be to, first of all, consult our website. Secondly, ask at the admission department of the university if you are applying for the admission. And then the third point is, for example, contact Teacher Jan and give us the name of the university, and we also approach ourselves that particular university. We provide them with the information, and very often it takes a week for the university to accept our scores. So basically, you know, you would be covered here one way or another.
Yeah, okay. Another question is regarding the material for practice. Like, is there a possibility to access the material for practice before registering for the exam? Like, let's say I want to have an idea about the test first and the test components, and to understand how the test format is like. So is there a chance that I can access the test or as practice, or at least to have some sort of material for practice, but before registering for the exam?
Naturally, and I'm just trying to open the website so that you can see. Okay, so here is, don't mind the prices at this stage. This is the language cert. This is the language cert website, right? And we are talking, for example, about language cert international ESOL B1 exam. As you go into our website and you scroll down, you will see official practice material here. And as you can see, practice paper 1, 2, 3, and 6 can be downloaded. So, and these are free of charge, available 24/7 on our website. When you download, it's a package of materials which contains the listening files, right? Meaning the MP3 files with the listening component, the test booklet, the key, the transcript, you know, all is there. So you can really, if you're preparing for the B1 level, when you download these 4 tests and you really do them, you know, at home practicing, you will prepare yourself very well, you know. But then again, obviously you can consult any educational entity and also ask them to do, you know, to have classes with you to prepare you for that. So that's also possible. So it's always the candidate's choice, either to enroll for a preparation course or to self-prepare using, for example, these downloadable materials. And you don't need to register to access them.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That's good to hear. Another question: if, let's say, someone is new to the online examination, like they're not used to having the exam online or used to the software for the online examination, like, is there some sort of an opportunity to rehearse or to have a quick tour at the features of the program before taking the exam?
Well, not really. Not really. I would dare and say that the process is so intuitive that it shouldn't be a problem for the candidate. So that's one. Number two, on our website, once you register for our exam, you have access to our customer service, which is available 24/7. You can chat with them, you can send them an email, you can call. So if you are experiencing any kind of issues with registration or the exam experience, they are there to help you. One other thing that I would say would be exactly that what we mentioned earlier, meaning the take two possibility. So if you are really uncertain, if you're really feeling scared, okay, it will be sort of a bit of more investment into your exam, but you will be able to have this confidence that if indeed, because of the online experience, you fail, you will be able to retake the exam. And that's something I really wanted to show you. If my browser works, I just wanted to show you one thing. So as you can see, don't mind the prices because they are prices for my current location. So don't look at that now. The prices for your region will be displayed differently. I just wanted to show you two things. Number one, when I decide to book the exam, I always have this option of take two, right? This is what I wanted to feature here. So if my exam costs, let's say 65 euros, for another 20, not for another 65, I can take the exam again in case I fail. However, what is really, I think, meriting attention here is that when I decide to schedule or edit my time or date, I hope that the browser works. Just give it a sec. Ah, there you go. If I'm highly motivated to take the exam, if I want to decide here and now, I will be able to enroll for the exam in the morning of tomorrow, right? 6 a.m. tomorrow, I can be taking the exam because there are dates available, right? So this is the incredible, powerful possibility of delivering the exams. Obviously, I want to schedule the exam later because I want to prepare, I want to be certain and all that. So I can do it on, let's say, the 14th of December. And then when I do that, I will be able to choose my exam date or time from any of these available. So again, it doesn't get more flexible than that. So I just wanted to share that with you again so that you can see it in real life. So the process is quite intuitive. You register for the exam, you complete the payment, and you have 12 months to book the exam, and you can, change the dates as you please. So I think, it's a very convenient way of thinking about exams.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed. And to be honest, I couldn't help but look at the price. But I've noticed that the prices, like, it's quite like amazing. Because it's I can see that it's way affordable, more than
Yep.
other exams that are out there. And
Which
this
is
is
also the
something
case,
again that
yes.
I feel like is, yeah, amazing feature, because this is something that I've experienced with my colleagues many, many times, and the trainees that we had for other language exams, that they are also financially exhausted because of that they have to retake the test every 2 years, and actually the prices keep on getting higher for the exam rather than actually at least staying or stable or fixed. And this is something that our candidates actually quite feel sometimes, at most times, actually challenging.
Yep.
So I can see that Language Cert ESOL exams actually provide various solutions when it comes to academic achievement, when it comes to even like flexibility, accessibility, financially. I think it's the dream that we've been looking for in language assessment and examination, actually.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. And again, not to brag or anything, I have been working on language certifications for more than I care to admit, which is nearly 2 decades. And I have to tell you that from a perspective of a person who, like I said, I have collected, I think, about 8 language certifications throughout my professional career, and I haven't yet encountered a system which is more, let's say, intuitive, a system which is more available, more flexible. The fact that I can take the exam from my sofa and I can do it anytime, day or night, I think it beats it all. I mean, really, if I had to think now about driving 2 hours to my nearest test center, get stuck in traffic, waste my time, get frustrated, and then have the same trip back, oh no, that's not for me. I'm too lazy for that anymore, right? So
Yeah, and especially if you're trying to book a seat and the only seat available would be during a working day or
that's
something, and
right.
you have to take some days or hours off from work, which is more loss. Like, like it's more stressful, and you feel like it's also another burden that's added to the
Yeah.
burden of the exam itself.
Precisely. Time is money. Time is money. Our world is accelerating, and we are more and more, let's say, globalized. So why would we spend time traveling and adding more costs to our exam if we don't have to?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also would like to mention that you have also an amazing program for even language examination for kids as well.
That's right.
But unfortunately, we ran out of time today. So
Yeah,
I'm hoping that yeah, maybe next week or in the
we
next
can
few
do it in
weeks,
the
we
next
will
episode.
definitely, yes,
Yes.
we will reschedule another session that would be dedicated also for language testing for young learners.
Mhm.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carol, for being here with us today.
It was
It's
genuinely a pleasure. Thank you.
Isra, I have a
yes,
question.
yes,
This is
yes,
Yasser.
Mr. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Welcome, Mr.
First,
Yasser.
thank you very much. We always online, but this is the first time we have this conversation. That's good. I just want to ask you. You told me like a few months ago you have been working with the University of Princess Noura to present our